What do you see when you're in the dark?
Hello, welcome again to Buried Stories. I'm your host, Jeff Mercurio. With me is Wendell Brown. Wendell, how are you, buddy?
I'm doing good tonight, Jeff. How you doing?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. If you guys enjoy this show, leave a comment below, click the like button, subscribe, and thank you for watching. So for tonight, you've heard the saying, let's reason together. So we're going to do a round table. Each of us has questions, and I'll introduce the guests here in a moment. But we got questions because you've seen in the past where all the highly intelligent minds come together and they get things done. Well, if you want that, go to a different channel because that's not what we have tonight. But I will tell you, we are thinkers. We all think. So we're going to get a little bit of aspect from different age groups and generations about questions that we like to talk about. And if that's for you, please stay and watch. So I'm going to introduce my brother, Steve Mercurio. Steve, welcome to the show.
What's up? Raising the roof.
Hey, Steve.
Woo!
Yep. What's up?
I'm also going to welcome my son, my younger son, Tyler Mercurio, also known as T-Bone. Tyler, welcome to Buried Stories.
Woo! Hello.
Welcome, Tyler.
I followed the dress
Welcome
code.
aboard.
I got my alien shirt for
Cool.
you guys.
Very good.
There you
Very
go.
good.
Well,
Yeah,
Very
hell yeah.
welcome
appropriate.
aboard. Welcome
Yeah,
aboard
thank
the
you.
crazy train.
Oh yeah.
All right. So before we begin with the questions for each of us, I do have a question that maybe Tyler and some other people can answer. What is the deal with anime, and why has it overtaken America as it did? I mean, you go to a mall, there's shops that are anime driven, and I don't know. Wendell, have you seen anime?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't understand it at first. I mean, when my older son was growing up, I started seeing it where to me it said dragging balls. I didn't know it was. I did not know, and that's what I asked the librarian. I'm like, "What is dragging balls, and why is it in this section?" And she started laughing. She's like, "It's Dragon Ball Z," and my son
gosh.
was laughing too. So I felt a little out of place, and ever since then, I mean, you saw Pokemon come around and so on and so forth, but it has become a widespread thing in America. So, Tyler, answer that for me, if you will.
Well, anime it's made by Japan, so like they have such a unique way of storytelling that no other medium has. Like the stories in anime are like so crazy, and there's no way like you could do it live action. Well, they try, but they usually fail. But it just has such a unique like type of storytelling in it. The animation is usually very good. Like we have anime movies coming out right now where the animation quality is like unbelievable, and like it's killing it in the box office too. Like the Chainsaw Man movie just came out last week. It's already doing really good. The Demon Slayer movie did better than most of like the Hollywood movies that recently came out too. So it's just crushing the box office right now. And it just really strikes a chord with people my age too, just something about it. And so it's a lot of action. There's also like romantic anime. There's just so many different genres as well. There's like something for everyone, you know?
Yeah. Steve, you got any input on this anime? I mean, you got kids as well. I don't know if you watch it yourself or.
Yeah, I would say this. Look, being a sneakerhead myself, okay, when you start seeing brands like Nike just did a collaboration of Air Max 95s for Yu-Gi-Oh! One of the shoes, I would argue the better one, is exclusive to Japan. And then there was one that came out here in America, and they were discussing whether or not it did not make the shoe of the year list, But I will tell you this, it was probably very close to making that list. And when you start seeing that, you know you've hit something, right? And also, if you go on Disney right now and you go to the Star Wars section, there is a Star Wars, like there's sets of creators. They asked Japanese, some of the more famous Japanese anime
Mhm.
creators to make some crossover stories with Star Wars. And I got to tell you, they're amazing. Seriously, like they'll blow your mind. And it's in their form of making the story. And it's not like characters you would regularly, if you know Star Wars, not any characters you would be familiar with. They just took the Star Wars theme, put it into anime, and there's all these crazy stories in there, and they're fantastic. One could argue just as good as the regular. I mean, seriously. So I would just say, kind of like what Tyler said, it's a fantastic medium. I'm not a huge fan, but some of the stuff I've seen it's amazing, and it dates back many years. It's just I think it's finally capturing maybe this generation, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
I I think remember when we were growing up, Jeff, remember when you'd get home from school and you'd have your cartoons on and it would be Yogi Bear and the Flintstones.
Yeah,
And then
yeah.
there is a distinct difference between afternoon cartoons after school on a weekday and Saturday morning. It was almost like local production in the afternoon on the weekdays, and then you'd get the national production where they put a little more money and time into it
Yeah.
on so you got the Super Friends and you got all the better action um, animations. And I think this is just what's happened with the anime is that somebody has taken it animation very seriously, and they've put a lot of technology, a lot of the best technology, and they put a boatload of money into it. And they're coming up with some really cool stuff. And I think you're right. I think they can make them so real. I mean, it's hard to tell. Uh, Sometimes. I mean, you can still tell it's animated, but not
Right.
much. I mean, they're getting better and better, but, I think that's kinda where it's just evolved to. Like, the difference with us was the daytime cartoons and the Saturday. We couldn't wait till Saturday because you could watch the good ones, and then this is just taking it to another level, animation.
Well, we come from the generation of Schoolhouse Rock.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah, yeah. All right.
Yeah.
So is
Wait. A
this
lot of these big companies are taking advantage of this as well because if you go on Netflix, there is a ton of Netflix original anime that you can't get on any other streaming service as well. So they're very
wow.
smart and taking advantage of
Yeah,
that as
yeah.
well.
And it's good.
Oh, it's
They got a
very
huge
good.
Yeah,
market.
It really
yeah,
is.
yeah.
Huge market.
So is it so T-Bone, is this all your generation? Is this gonna be what your generation's known for, or does
Probably. It's
everybody like anime?
also the generation before me, like my older brother's generation, they were really into it as well. It's just like the past 10 years is when it really hit the mainstream. Like anime was a thing in like the mid 2000s. Like I don't remember, I don't know if you remember, but Cartoon Network had Toonami, which they would play anime at night. They did that in
Oh,
like the
okay.
mid 2000s, but it wasn't really until the early 2010s is when it really blew up. So I think it's more like the generation before me got it started, but my generation is like when it really became mainstream.
Right. Now my nephew Dominic, is he into it?
No, surprisingly, no, not very much.
Okay.
I mean, he's kind of more into like sports and stuff, but there was a time where he definitely appreciate. I think if anything, my daughter Gabriella would be closer to probably
Closer.
watching anime. Just one of those
Yeah,
things. So.
gotcha. All right, for the opening question, I'll give this honor to T-Bone,
Great.
Tyler.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you can start us off.
All right, with my first question.
Yes, sir.
All right, here we go. All right. If we were all on death row, what would your guys' last meal be?
Who do you want to answer first?
Okay. Wendell, you first.
I'll grab
I'll
potatoes
also
on the
take into
steak.
account, like, you don't know how you're gonna die, though. Like, you might be electrocuted, you might get lethal injection, you have no idea.
I'll gratin potatoes and steak and a big glass of bourbon.
Ah,
Ooh,
ah, very
nice.
good. Very good.
All right, what about you,
Now
Steve?
for me, go into Steve.
Okay, so I'd have to go some surf and turf. I'd request some filet mignon, and I'd like to crack open a lobster. Like I want to put in
Ooh,
all the work.
yeah.
Don't to bring me the lobster whole and cooked. You know what I mean? I want to work it. Okay, and
Yeah.
then I'd like to, maybe have nice baked potato on the side, and then to finish off, I'd like some toaster strudels and a cup of coffee
Ooh.
with
Oh,
some half and
wow.
half, maybe like some Tim Hortons coffee, and then I'm good.
Yeah, that sounds pretty good.
Yeah.
All right, what about you,
All right.
Dad?
Okay. So I know I'm gonna die, I just don't know how. I've always wanted to try one of those fried cheeseburgers that they do at
Mm.
carnivals because I mean that's bad for your heart anyway. So
Dude, you're
if I'm
gonna
going
die with a
out,
stomach ache.
yeah, but I would have that. I'd have good old fashioned steak fries and just a Coca-Cola would be fine with me.
You're gonna end up
My
dying from a
second
heart
choice,
attack instead.
Yeah.
my second choice would be puffer fish cooked the wrong way, so I die before they can put me to
Yeah,
There
death.
you
that's a good
go.
that's a
Hell
good
yeah.
There you
option.
go.
Yeah.
Hey, and you know what?
Nice.
Give me one last cigarette. I mean, I haven't smoked in years, but if
Right.
I'm gonna die anyways, next day, might as well throw in one cigarette and a lighter. You know what I mean?
Yep.
That's fair.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I hear you.
Yeah. Yep.
What
So
about you,
Oh,
Tyler?
man. Well, way I was thinking is if I'm on death row, I'd be too nervous. I'm too upset. I don't got much of an appetite. Maybe just a bag of chips or something. Like I'm not in a good mood. I'm very upset. I'm not hungry. Just give me some Ruffles or something. I don't even care.
rough. Some pork
Yeah.
rinds. Gi-
Yeah.
give me some fun. Give me some Funyuns.
Yeah, right. Right.
Some Funyuns.
Hell yeah.
Now right there you could tell the difference between generations. Like the older generations were like, "Oh, it's here finally."
Yep.
Really,
Yep.
really.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah. Just give me a cheeseburger and I'm out of here, you know?
Oh, oh
Fair
man.
Yeah.
enough.
To
Right,
go,
right.
a
Yeah,
cheeseburger to
to
go.
go.
To go.
Yeah. I'll eat it while you guys do whatever you're gonna do. Yeah. Just
Oh man, that's funny.
all right, Steve, we'll throw it to you
Okay.
with your question.
I'm just curious, out of all the cults that you guys are aware of that have existed, most known, most unknown, which cult intrigues you guys the most? Honestly, at the end of the day, which cult and why?
All right, we'll start with you, Wendell.
I have two. The most would be the Jim Jones cult, where they all drank the Kool-Aid, where I mean, they even created an iconic statement, they're drinking the Kool-Aid. That's so where that came from. And then the Charlie Manson cult, really, really, that one I just can't figure out. He's such an idiot, and he looked like such an idiot, talked like such an idiot, acted like such an idiot, and then these mostly women with that could have had good lives chose to follow that idiot. That just blows my mind. It makes you realize everybody doesn't come from the same place. They don't have the same life experience. They don't have the same values, the education, whatever the case may be. Some people just need somebody to say you know, they want you around or something. But I think they fell into that category. But that one freaks me out. But the Jim Jones is probably the most intriguing one. Because you're talking about a whole church group. And I don't think those people believed they were in a cult. They were in a church. And you see a lot of church activities, normal church activities, we would call normal. where churches take trips and churches travel and they do different things in different countries. And um, I don't know that those people would have ever thought they were in a cult. You understand what I
Right.
mean? But but they had to start knowing what was going on, especially near the end when people are carrying guns around church, um, and rifles, and they're telling you what you can and can't do. Um, so it intrigues. It's more of a social intrigue for me. What would make, not that the leaders, I mean, everybody loves power and some people are crazy. And when they get power, I mean, they're just on an ego trip, but where are these reasonable people that bring their whole family in to follow them? Um, that, that is just, I don't know the answer. And it's very, interesting to me. What could make somebody get that involved in following a lunatic, um, to your death? But those two would be my choices.
Gotcha.
Jeff?
All right, we're talking about cults, the most intriguing cult. All right, I don't have one that's the most intriguing because I see them still going on to this day, and that's what intrigues me is, to me, the television evangelists, the people that send in money from home, I think they're part of a cult and they don't know it. They're
Would you say
promised,
Joel Osteen is one of them?
yeah, I
I would,
would.
I
Yes.
would.
Yeah, definitely.
Anybody that does televangelists, I think they got these magnificent churches behind them that's filled to capacity because all they preach is hope, hope. You get what you pray for. Send me your money. And these people at home that are tuning in and are, some of them may be sick, but their hope, they hear that if I send in this amount of money, I'll receive gifts and stuff. So I see those cults as something that disturbs me because it goes on every single day. And some of these other
In
church
in
branches,
plain view. It goes
yeah,
on in plain
Absolutely.
yeah,
view.
yeah,
If you have a private jet, you're running a cult.
yes,
And
yes.
yeah. So
And you can almost see it when Joel Osteen comes out and he's
Oh, yeah.
smiling with the big
Yeah,
smile and stuff.
absolutely.
And I mean, everything's like, pray it and you'll get it. Send me your money. And I mean, any
remember the healed
rational,
guy? Remember the
yeah,
healed guy? The
yeah,
guy that
Yeah, I
yeah,
would
was just
touch
going
your
to bring that
forehead?
up, Wendell.
yeah.
That
But we
healings,
see that,
the TV hearings,
right.
or the healings.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But to me, those are my most intriguing cults because I can't fathom it. I'm watching it. The guy that's saying, send me your money scares the crap out of me. And it's like, all right, if anybody with a rational mind, like you were saying, Wendell, you see this going on, I don't understand it. I don't know how you could give up everything you own and because that's your last hope is this smiling guy on TV who's got 30 books that says how to make your life better in one step. I don't get it. So to me, that's a cult that I see still going on to this day with magnificent production teams, private jets,
But,
cars.
I would say for those old people that are sitting in their living room and they don't get out and nobody wants to talk to them anymore because they're just not the most exciting people to be around or talk to, um, and they're by themselves. I would say that I'm not saying Olstein's spreading bad things as far as what he says, because what comes out of his mouth is usually good, wholesome, good, treat people right and, pray and, but it's all the ancillary things involving money that is disturbing. But you can't say he gets up there and preaches hate. He doesn't. He
No, he
doesn't get
doesn't
up there
preach
and
hate.
he doesn't get up there and preach kill the Democrats or kill the Republicans. He doesn't do that. He 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 does preach positive things that people probably want to hear, and they probably want to hear more of it because they sure as can't they can't turn on their news and hear anything positive. And, but I don't know, have you guys ever seen a show called, Night Sky? It's fairly recent, a couple years old, I
Yeah,
think.
I watched it.
I
Yeah.
don't think
All
I'm
right,
not
but
sure.
a couple. All right, if you get a chance, watch it, but it'll give you, if you can, even if you don't follow the plot of the series, it's a series, but it does give you an interesting insight into 2 old people living together to where they're pretty much on their own, and we all get there. I know a lot of us fight it all the way till the end, but, your kids have lives, your grandkids have lives. They don't really wanna come over and look at old pictures, you know? And, so, so eventually it's whoever your mate is with you or you by yourself, but eventually you're there by yourself, and that show gives a good insight, and why I even mentioned it was because I can see how those 2 in that series could get, they watch Joel Osteen every Wednesday. That's just what they do. And so I can, and it's positive. So I don't wanna totally throw him under the bus, but the money bothers me, and I think Jeff's right. I think it does constitute a cult.
But
Tyler,
I will
what do you think?
I
Oh,
will
go ahead.
hold on, hold on. I
Okay.
will throw him under the bus because he's preaching positive things for a price. That's
Yeah.
all I gotta say.
But yeah, very much so.
The money, like
And
I think
yeah,
Wendell said it. It's the money that makes you feel uncomfortable.
right.
And it's the hypocrisy, right? I mean, there is a certain level of hypocrisy with televangelists, right? I mean,
High level.
of yes, extremely. So yeah, we'll leave it. Tyler, how about you?
I just don't think these TV evangelists are gonna last much longer, honestly. It's mostly the old people that pay attention to them, so I think once that generation is gone, I don't think they're gonna have nearly as much, like, popularity as they have now or back then, you know?
I would argue that because we get replaced.
Yeah,
I
we
just the
do.
only reason that
Somebody will
because
That's
take
true,
over
I
that.
yes.
never
Yeah.
thought I would. You're gonna be old someday. All your friends are gonna be old.
Yeah.
And, trust me, the same things that affect us will affect you. People will start looking at you like your opinion isn't very hot anymore, that you're 40 now. And,
That's true. That's
don't be
fair.
telling us, don't talk to us about technology. You're 50 now, so you don't know
Yeah,
T-Bone, you
yeah,
got
that's
a
technology.
fair.
cult?
So we get replaced, and so, but I understand your point. You're exactly right. They do have a set audience, but it refills itself.
Yeah. Hey,
That's true.
Tyler, you have a cult that intrigues you?
But yeah. Yeah, yeah, okay, listen to this. You know who Jared Leto is, right? Any of you guys?
Yes. Yeah.
Alright,
I don't know who that is.
alright, he's an actor, he's a pretty big actor, he was just in the new Tron movie, he, played the worst Joker in that Suicide Squad movie, and he's also
Yeah.
the,
Worst Joker.
oh yeah, terrible. He was also the frontman for the, band 30 Seconds to Mars, but he has pretty much his own island, and he has this huge group of women that go with him to this island, and they do I don't know what the hell they do, but it's kind of cultish because this guy Jared Leto, he kind of looks like Jesus. He kind of acts like Jesus
I was gonna say
sometimes.
that.
Yeah, it is super bizarre. It looks like a cult. It's got to be a cult. But if you look into it, it's just the weirdest thing ever. Like I don't know what he's doing, and I don't think I want to know either, honestly. But it's really
Ah,
weird.
But what
That's
better
intriguing.
age to start a cult in than right now? My God, you get
yeah.
followers. People will take pride in being followers. As
I
weirdest
know.
thing I've ever seen.
Yeah,
But because our generation was like, no, I'm not a follower. What are you talking about? I don't follow
right.
anybody.
Yeah.
Uh, but they're proud of being followers.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah,
yeah.
But yeah, you should look into it. It's so weird.
gotcha.
So I'd go with listen, Wendell, I think you brought up probably the two most mainstream ones, the ones that probably caused what we would consider maybe the most damage, other than maybe your David Koresh, right? We all remember David Koresh, but the one I'm gonna bring up, I think, is the most intriguing when you look at it, is Heaven's Gate. Um, that one is intriguing because it went on for quite some time. they never, at least in the documentaries and the material.
Haley's Comet one, right?
Yeah, well,
That's the
yeah,
Haley Comet one.
was it Haley's Comet, or it was definitely a comet.
Yeah, it
Trying to
was
think
Yeah, it
of
was
which
a
one.
Halbach.
comet.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Halbach.
yeah, that's it.
Yep.
That's it.
And I
Yeah.
remember that they had, and the reason why it stands out for me, I was driving home from Colorado, and we did not have television for a whole week. The girls we were staying with, they didn't have TV. So on the way home, I remember looking at a newspaper article somewhere in Kansas, looking at it like, what the heck? I mean, because I remember we'd all look up at night and see the comet. You could look up, it was like here for
Yeah.
like a month, right? We all look up, you see it, and then you find out all of these very sophisticated and very intellectual people took their own life because they truly believed that there was a spaceship following that comet and they were going to enter.
Yep.
I mean, and the weird thing about it to me is they were not violent. If you read into them, they were extremely not violent at all. They were very, like I said, they're very educated. I mean, extremely educated, software engineers, you name it, the whole list. Very educational. And so it kind of goes back to what you were saying, Wendell. It's like, how does a group, and you know what I'd say, Wendell? I think there's something to what you were talking about. I think there's a need to belong somewhere,
I
right?
think you're right.
Yep. And then
I think
so now maybe you've done some, when especially if you're not maybe the best looking individual, or maybe you're kind of, skittish when it comes to people, or maybe you're kind of like a nerd, and everywhere you've gone, you've got picked on, and then suddenly you come across this group that just embraces you, takes you in, makes you feel like $1 million, like you feel like you belong, like you're a part of something.
yeah.
So very
But I
intriguing.
think Steve, I think we look, it's something in the human psyche, you're right, to belong or to be accepted, whatever the case may be. But one of the weirdest things along this line that I see every day, and I just can't comprehend it. Somebody like Tyler, Jeff, you're not standing up, so I really never been in the same room with you. But my kids, physically fit specimens, like I was in the Marine Corps kind of thing. But I see people like that. A good example is the Ellen show, which my wife is a fanatic about and was on, and that they had a guy that used to play that killed us. He played the music stuff. I don't know
Okay.
what his name. He only had one name. They called him by his first name, last name, or something. But it was Ellen's music guy that killed himself last year or 2 years ago. Right? What I can't understand is I see people in my circles and, in my income level and where our family came from. We didn't come from the Rockefellers or anything, but we weren't out of poverty. But I'm just saying, from the social circles that I've seen through my years, if I had to say what was the one thing people were trying to do, it was lose weight. And they're
Yeah.
not like super obese necessarily, unless you go to the doctor. And if you're 190 pounds, your doctor calls you obese, which
Right. Right.
destroys all their credibility. Um, but, but then you see these perfect, physically fit specimens killing themselves over anxiety and being alone. And, I just didn't know, like, I didn't get the movie I wanted to. I have no empathy for that because I've seen people my whole life, which tells you I probably need to learn about mental illness a little more. But um, I've seen people my whole life. If they had one wish, like Tyler asked us if when we were on death row, what our wish would be. If they had one wish, it would be to be this weight or this look or whatever. That would be their one wish. They would probably trade in some family members for it. But and then I see these people with that. And so what's so interesting to me is that we're all different and we all have different dreams. And, the one thing I want in life is to look like Lou Ferrigno, and then Lou Ferrigno has some anxiety problem or something and, offs himself. It's really intriguing because people, I guess, you look at like I said, you look at you three and you've got what 95% of Americans are trying to get to. You've got a body that you can wear a large shirt instead of a 3X, you know, and and you don't appreciate it is what I'm saying is that you probably don't think twice about that you wear a large size, that you wear a
No.
large shirt. And that's the dream of 95% of America is to get down to do it. So it's just it's interesting that we all need something to be included in. And
Right.
I think it's really worrisome when people don't know what makes themselves happy because then you get the people following cults and things.
Yeah, I would agree. I would agree.
And to add that, and I just want to throw it out there, I don't know much about it, but what do you guys think of Scientology? I mean,
That's a
the
very good
guy,
one.
I, I forgot who wrote the
Absolutely.
book, but then it got church acceptance, and then all of a sudden it's this big, I don't know exactly what they do there, but a huge following. I mean, you got people from Hollywood following. Then you hear all these horror stories from when people come out. So to me,
Yeah,
that's almost a cult like
Well, it's a
thing.
cult. It's a cult. I mean, I know Scientologists would say it's not. They'd say it's a legitimate. But I mean, you're talking about. I mean, and look, they would have some good arguments to make, right? The guy writes a book. I mean, people follow. You can make the same argument about the Bible, technically speaking, right? Somebody wrote stories. The stories came together as this book, and now here we are, what, 2,000 years later, following Jesus Christ. You know what I mean? But they would argue, well, it started with the book. You have followers. You have, I think what gets me on this Scientology is that, look, I don't know anything about it. I know there appear to be levels, and it
Yeah.
sounds like from the outside looking in order to move up those levels, you have to go back to cash, right? Like you have to be able to pay for each study to get you to the next level, right? Which, if you think about it, kind of goes back to what we were talking about with Joel Olstein and them, right? You're paying in money and everything. But what gets me even worse about the Scientologists is that there's so much secret to it. And
Yeah.
that, like you said, Jeff, if you try to leave, look, if you leave the Catholic Church tomorrow, your priest might check in with you just to see, like, because he might miss you, right? Legitimately, like, oh, I used to see Steve here all the time. Now I wonder what happened to him. See, from a Scientology standpoint, it might be like, what is this guy doing? What kind of threat is he to our existence? And so they honestly start, sending out, you know, pe-
Oh,
people
you
of a
got
security team.
watchers. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
that
But
that right there is scary.
yeah. Yeah. And L. Ron Hubbard is the one that wrote the book, Scientology. So it went from a book to this movement. And the other one that does send people out, it's weird. It's kind of hard to get out of is the Mormon church.
ain't that the
You
truth?
have, yeah, you have, if you get out of the Mormon church, every month somebody's coming to the door, checking up on you or trying to get where you went. Like, I'll give you an example. I know somebody that was part of the Mormon church. They left. People came to my door. Do you have an address for them? No. you know, close the door. But that's another hard one to get out of.
Yeah, my wife
And
still gets letters from the Mormon church,
right, right.
It's so weird.
They're
Like, I don't even
persistent.
know how they got
They
our
are.
address. It's the creepiest thing ever.
They know. I
Yeah,
think
they're
they got their own
persistent.
yeah, they got their own
That's
spy network.
that's
Mhm.
like L. Ron Hubbard. He had an excellent
Yeah.
marketing department. He had good
Yeah, yeah.
marketing.
Right,
Yeah.
right. All
Whose
right,
Also,
question's next?
oh wait, I also really want to know why so many Hollywood people get into Scientology because you have Tom Cruise is still in it. You have that guy Danny Masterson that recently went to jail. He was on that '70s show. He was in it. And then that chick, I can't remember her name, but she was the main actress in that sitcom, The King of Queens. She was actually able to
right.
get out of it, and she like tells stories of like what it's like, and it just sounds so bizarre. It's the weirdest thing ever.
I think they're
All right,
Very
very.
odd.
Wendell.
What's that?
What would
Y-
your
y-
question be tonight, Wendell?
do you think the Titanic do you think the Titanic sank?
Me personally, yeah, I think the actual Titanic sank.
Yeah, because you can
Do
literally
you?
find the pieces of the Titanic in the bottom of the ocean.
Yeah, Tyler, but did you ever hear the story? What was it? They switched it with a different ship. It was an
The Ol
insurance scheme,
the
right?
Olympic
That's
for
yeah,
instance.
yes. And
Yeah.
supposedly they kept the Titanic because it was the newer of the ships, if I'm correct, Wendell. And
Yeah,
supposedly, yeah.
go ahead. No, go ahead.
Oh
Go
no, no,
ahead.
I was just gonna say there's this big ongoing, I guess, theory that it wasn't the Titanic that sank, like you said, Wendell's the Olympic, and it had to do with the insurance money essentially, because
Well,
obviously brand new ship goes down, it's going to be worth a lot more money, everything like that. But it's an odd one.
let me
Yeah,
set it up for
that's
you
a
a little bit.
crazy story if that's true.
It's not so much for the Titanic, it's about do you believe in, predestiny kind of thing, but, um, the Titanic the Olympic was the sister ship of the Titanic, the exact it was the first one built. It was the Olympic, Titanic, and then, what was the 3rd one, Jeff? Do you remember that one? Olympic, Titanic, and, there was some other big name on and, but the Olympic was first, and it was out, and it got wrecked a couple times, got ran into by a Navy vessel, and it wrecked again, got hit by another ship. So, they think that the main spine of the ship, keel or whatever, was bent, and, after the 2nd time that it was in a wreck, was in port when the Titanic was almost finished. It was side by side with the port, and, there's pictures of it when they're side by side, and they think they may have switched everything then, and, because the one at the bottom of the ocean does have the serial number of the Titanic propeller, but the Olympic had one of the Titanic's propellers, or, had a propeller
Wow.
from that inventory. Now, there is a distinction on the 2nd deck. I'm not gonna talk everything about the Titanic because 'cause I'm a Titanic freak. There's a lot about them, but on the 2nd deck, there is a slight variation in the portholes and the way the rails are done, and the one that the I think the Titanic sunk because the one on the bottom of the ocean has those rails for the ones the Titanic had. But it's an interesting story because they think that it was an insurance thing that they swapped them, and they went out and they sank the Olympic on purpose as the Titanic for the insurance money because it wasn't gonna last. Because the Olympic, after the Titanic sank, went on for years of service, wartime service as a medical ship and everything, so they got their money's worth out of the Olympic, but some people think they swapped them. When they were in port together because the Titanic had just finished its sea trial, so it was certified to go seaworthy, so it didn't have to get inspected anymore, and they could have swapped everything and sent the Olympic out and sank her.
Right.
Um, that was in 19 was it April 14th, 1912? 1912, the Titanic sank. So how people missed this, I do not know. And Ismay, the CEO of the shipping company, was on the Titanic
He was on it,
when it
yeah.
sank. So even if he would have set it up, and the Carpathia was out there that had no cargo except hundreds and thousands of blankets. Suspicious,
Mm.
because that was the closest ship. But the but Ismay was on that ship. Now you're thinking if you're on a sinking ship, women and children first, you don't have enough lifeboats for everybody anyway. It's really an iffy proposition whether you get on a lifeboat, even if you're the CEO of the company, you know what I mean?
Right,
It's a
right.
50-50. It's not a guarantee. So that's another reason I don't think that he would have put himself in harm's way like that if he thought that, if he knew the ship was gonna sink. But in 1898, so 1912, the Titanic sank. In
Alright.
1898, a gentleman named Morgan, I think it's a guy named Morgan Robertson, wrote a book called Futility. and it was about the largest ship in the world sinking on her maiden voyage, and it hit an iceberg in the North Atlantic, south of Greenland. It was 800. The ship in the book was 880 feet, 800 feet. The Titanic was 882 feet. The ship in the book was traveling 25 knots. The Titanic was traveling 22 knots. The 1,500 people died on the Titanic in the actual one. I don't know if everybody died on the book one, but the ship's name in the book, and this was written 14 years before the Titanic sank, was the Titan.
Mm.
And it's
That's
a book
crazy.
called Futility. It was written in it's the exact Titanic story. It's the exact. There's no variation to it. It's what happened to the Titanic. And
Yeah, I'm glad you brought it up because I was actually going to bring it up because I think it's a crazy coincidence, like how that book just came out a couple
yeah,
years before the Titanic happens.
yeah. My question would be, Jeff, back to your original inquiry, was, do you believe in predestiny?
Predestiny. I do. We've talked about a little bit about predestiny in a couple episodes ago or so. Yeah, I believe we're all predestined to do something. Yes, I do believe in predestiny. To make a long story short, yes.
How about you, Tyler?
But yeah, and we all have a due day as well. Like we all have a time when we're going to die and all that stuff.
So you think it's
Everything's
set
in
already?
God's plan. What was that?
So you think it's already written? It's already written, though? I mean, I know we're going to
100%.
go when God wants us to go, but does he already know? Does God already, does he already have it written down when our checkout date is?
Oh, 100%. Like God knows everything. He totally knows when we're going to go and what decisions we're going to make and like he just knows everything.
I was kind of hoping it was variable, that I could extend it.
Yeah.
No.
All right. What about you, Steve?
You know, what intrigues me is you hear all these heroic stories of survival of people on the edge of death. You know what I mean? Like you hear all these amazing stories of, people surviving things that you'd never think you come back from, and then you see things like 9/11, and people just woke up one morning, went to work like we all go to work every day, and then that things like that happen. So that kind of makes me think that things are predestined. I don't think we know anything about it. I don't think we're meant to know about it. Otherwise, that kind of takes away the surprise of, So, I mean, you could tell somebody everything's predestined, but if you don't know what your path is, are you still going to take that same path? Are there things along the way? Are there signs that kind of point you in a certain direction? One could argue that a lot of people say there are, a lot of people say there aren't, but I mean, at the end of the day, I do believe it is. I just think we're not meant to know, so that it's all a surprise. It's all feels like we every choice we made was our own, and that So I mean, I think that that's the kind of play on it. Yes, it's predestined. Yes, God or the Almighty knows everything, but I mean, it's
Do you think it's all coincidence, the similarities between the JFK assassination and the Kennedy assassination? I know you guys have heard them all, but do you think all the coincidences from them being elected in the same year, their assassins being born the same year, their secretaries both trying to top them out of going where they were going, Ford Theater or Dallas? What is the other one? Ford.
Yeah.
The theater was Ford, and Kennedy died in a Ford.
Right. Right.
There's some other
their
ones, some other.
assassins had like the names, right?
Yeah. The
Yeah,
opposite names. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, the and what is the theater too? Oswald was caught in a theater
Yeah,
and escaped to was shot him from a warehouse and escaped to a theater, and Booth shot him in the theater and got caught in a warehouse.
right, right.
So do you think that is coincidence?
For me, no, I don't think that's coincidence. I think it played out that way just by happenstance, but I guarantee that was predestined to
Reoccur?
play out how it did. Now, I mean, the similarities are mind-boggling for people
They
like
are.
us. I mean, beyond anything we could even imagine to come up with for a book or anything, but I do think that was predestined. That's my take on it.
Tyler, what do you think?
I would say it probably is just a coincidence. Like the similarities are kind of crazy. It's like there's no way like it was planned to be like that. I think it's just a crazy coincidence. But I could be wrong. Who
Yeah.
knows?
And just looking into that kind of thing kind of opened my eyes to how we think the world is full of a lot of people. But actually, if you think about it, if you're talking about our leaderships as far as presidents and family names and families that are in power, we're an extremely small sample of people. We're extremely small. I mean, look at our history in America. We've been ran by what, 4 or 5 families at the most.
I know, yeah.
Uh, and that is extremely we are I always it was kind of an epiphany because I was thinking, there's a lot of us in America and in the world. There's a lot of people. But if you look at it, just a handful of people have controlled all of us
I know.
over the years. So that I mean, it's an extremely we're a much smaller sample of people than I thought. I just thought that we just had so many people we couldn't count them all. But I don't think that's the case when you look that 4 or 5 people can rule us our entire existence and beyond our lifetimes.
Well, I agree with you
The whole
there.
country's
Yeah.
existence.
Yeah.
And if you look, we got so many people, and I know there's people more qualified, more intelligent, more savvy, better problem solvers than the people that we get to vote for. But you're right, the backing of the old money still pushes them into these circles where they go from the bigger circles to the smaller circles to the inner circles to be on stage presented to us as the only answer for America.
Well, and I think that just proves there's only 2 ways to exist. One is either survival of the fittest. One is either there's no money and the strong survive and the weak die, period. No compassion, no empathy, no social programs. You're either the strongest or you are not in power. The thing that takes the place of that strength is money. And I
Yeah,
think that's the only ways to exist. If you're going to use a barter system to have a civilization to where you don't cut everybody's throat that you see because you think they're going to take your food, um, or worse, then if you're not going to live that way and you're going to institute a bartering program to where you're trading, it's whoever has the most is in power.
gotcha.
I think I truly I think there's 2 ways to exist: either survival of the fittest or whoever has the most gold makes the rules.
Right, right.
So,
Jeff, I think it's your
next,
question, sir.
Okay. Well, this one I was thinking about a couple nights ago outside by the fire. Now, my wife had an incident when she was younger. She was laying in bed, and then she told me she woke up and she was on the ceiling looking down on herself. Now, clearly, she knew she wasn't dead. She didn't have any fever or anything, but she was stunned. And when she was stunned by that sight, she was pulled right back into her body. Now, we just had a gentleman on 2 episodes ago that had a near death experience that laid down for a nap. and then was up looking at himself, and then floated downstairs, saw what his wife was doing, what she was watching, and then went back upstairs and then was pulled back into his body. So my question is astral projection. Do you think that's a real phenomenon? Can people detach their spirit from themselves and float around? And if so, I mean, that's somebody could float into your room and you wouldn't know it. But so what do you think about astral projection? We'll start with Tyler. Go ahead.
All right, well, that one guy had a near-death experience, but then my mom, she was just sleeping, right, when she had that happen. Is that right? So it sounds like those two things are completely different. So I would say astral projection is probably possible, but how that happens or how you can even make that happen, I don't know how, but I would say it's possible. I've heard a couple stories of people being able to do that, but I think that and then a near-death experience is two totally different things. Like when you die, you could probably kind of see what's like around you, and you could probably move about. But astral projection, I would say that's possible. But how you actually do that, no idea.
Okay. There have been stories where these people who do the astral projection, because it's, if you look, there are some people that teach you now how to pull yourself off from from your body,
That has a
and it
lot to do
starts
with
with
your mind, right?
yeah, but it's got to be very relaxed. Your breathing's got to be a certain way, and then you'll feel a vibration inside, and then next thing you know, you're outside of your body. But psychology says no, it's got something to do with your mind, just your brain, like something misfires or you got damage in one little section. But Steve, what do you think about astral projection? Is it possible?
I absolutely do think. I mean, if I'm going to sit here and believe that ghosts exist or post humanity exists, I mean, it comes down to the question whether or not you believe that when life ends, when our heart stops beating and our brain's done, does life end at that, or is there something in the beyond? I mean, if you think remotely that there's something beyond humanity, then that would suggest that the body and the soul are two different things, or however you want to define the soul. And then if they are two different things, then essentially one could remove one from the other, right? And so, you know what kind of makes me think that absolutely it does is all the stories you hear about the people that are under in surgery, right?
Yeah, oh yeah,
And then while they're under in surgery, they're floating around the room and they come back and they tell the doctor they remember exactly the song that they were singing during surgery or what was going on during this. I mean, they can explain to you so much from a different perspective too. They'll tell you exactly where they were standing in the room or floating above. It's usually the floating above is usually,
right.
um, but then that kind of takes me down a path. It's different, but is it the same? You hear all like the CIA and them talk about remote viewing, right? And so, is that astral projection or is that something different? Because when you listen to them explain what remote viewing is, it sounds very similar, right? You're essentially
Yes,
taking your mental to a different area. Back in the day, they were trying to find out secrets of what the Russians were working on, and people were damn good about it, by the way, too. I mean, you listen to the
right.
CIA stories, these people were damn good at what they did, and the CIA spent a ton of money. And by the way, I believe this was after they found out the Russians had been doing this for quite
Yeah,
some time first, right? So, I mean, I do believe it's possible. And then I guess I would just ask the question, is remote viewing essentially the same thing as astral projection, or are they different things?
right.
Kind of sounds like
What
astral
about you,
projection is
Wendell?
only possible when you're unconscious. Is that right?
No, these people could lay down in a bed and relax themselves so much that that vibration comes on and they could pull themselves out of their body.
So you think you're able to like do it on purpose and control it?
There are cases that
What remote
of
viewing is.
people. Yeah, that's what remote viewing is. It's there. You learn how to do this, and the first thing is relaxation, relaxing your mind, making it blank. You all of a sudden, I mean, there's books written about how to do it, and I'm sure, I mean, you can look it up and stuff. I mean, there's Reddits about it and stuff like that. But so yeah, I would say it's the same thing as remote viewing. You could see you're in an office, you know, you're outside of your body, and then you're in an office in Moscow, and you're looking at this piece of paper, and then you come back, you're sucked back, and you can write down your report of what you saw.
Or the
Wendell, what do you
Dark
think?
Pyramid, or the Dark Pyramid in Alaska.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I'm
Try
talking
to
about,
find out.
Steve? Steve, you know who Pat Price is?
No, I feel
Have you
like I've
heard it?
heard the name.
Yeah, he's the one that was a big remote viewer. They killed him.
I always hear, who's the guy on Coast to Coast? Colonel.
Yeah,
McGonigal.
Art Bell talked to him, and then the guy died
Yeah,
like a week later.
Yeah.
okay, but there's a different guy who's still alive. Who I think he's still
Ingalls.
alive.
I know who you're talking about. Yeah, I know who
I'm
you're
trying to
talking about.
think. He's always
Begins
on
with an
Coast to
I.
something like that.
ING. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But do I believe it, Jeff?
Yeah.
I do. But oh, excuse me. But I come from it from an angle that we all have the same ability. So it's not, when you hear people like Gandhi and the monks that live in the monasteries, I believe their poverty and their time that they have encourages such a state, to be able to focus and to sit quietly and to concentrate. How many of us get to do that? Not very.
Right.
I mean,
That's true.
do you ever? I know I run to bed sometimes after I watch like a One Step Beyond episode or a Twilight Zone episode, and I just want to go to sleep and dream. I just want to go. I want to dream. I want to go into the future or the past. I want to see something, even though I know it's not real. I want to see it because you guys can't tell me if you've ever had a good dream, just a wicked dream. A real that you remember. Whether it's good or
Right.
bad, what have. Uh, that's a pretty cool thing when your mind does it. When you get put out for a surgery, is that not the most peaceful time in the whole world? And they might tell you sang like Elvis and you don't remember it. And how
Right.
can you do that and your mind not remember it? Um, so, but I know when I go I always ask them to put me out because I think it's the most enjoyable, one of the most coolest feelings in the world. Like not knowing, not remembering. All I remember was counting down from 10. And then the next thing I knew, they're waking me up to go home. Well, where'd all
Right.
that time go? So, I like
Exactly.
that kind of thing. But I also think we all have the same ability. Maybe some people are naturally more adept to it. It's a certainty that some are more trained to it and have practiced it and know how to do it. But, how many of us have the time to sit for 3 hours in the dark with absolutely no sound and see what your mind can do? I don't think many of us try that or do it or get the opportunity because our lives are busy and we have it to where we have to have an income to maintain our lifestyle. And, but there are people out there that either already have an income or don't need an income, and they have time, to focus on those things. And yes, it's like we talked about, Jeff. I don't even think we've scratched the surface of our reality for one, and what our mind can do for two. As a second, what our mind's capable of. You always hear the traditional, you only use 4% of your mind or whatever,
Yeah.
1%.
Yeah.
But all that's just talking points. We've all heard it for years that I know I apply as much of my mind as I think I have the power to apply. But if I could learn a new way, it would be interesting to see what you could do. Can you move things with your mind? I don't know, probably. Can you communicate without talking? Probably, but there's a reason God gave us mouth and ears. I'm sure he intended us to use them. Um, the but yes, I think the mind is a very powerful thing. I definitely believe there's such a thing as remote viewing and people that can see things and sense things. Obviously, somebody wrote a book in 1898 about a ship sinking that matches one that sank 14 years later. So they had some kind of, not that he was predicting the Titanic sinking, but there was something involved there. That he had some kind of insight. And but yes, I think we all have the ability to, whether we have the discipline and the ability socially and to be able to sit there with our legs crossed and focus on nothing but our mind and the universe. I think that's limited for most of us, but I think there are people out there that can probably do something with it. Yeah.
Gotcha. Now, here's a follow-up question. All right, if people can remote view and astral project, and that's you leaving your body, your physical body, yet you still are consciously aware that you're aware apart from your physical body. Is your conscious part of the spirit then? Or is it part of your mind, your brain matter? We'll go to Tyler with that one. Is your conscious part of your brain matter, or is it part of the spirit?
I think it's.
If that's what leaves your body.
I would say it's the conscious that leaves the body, because if you're astral projecting, you could probably think and you can control it. So you gotta be able to use conscious, right? If it's just a spirit, I don't think you'd be able to think, make decisions like that. So
All
it's
right,
gotta be the
fair.
conscious, because you're making decisions, you're thinking, you know, it's gotta be the conscious.
So you think the conscious is separate from your mind?
Oh, 100%.
Okay.
Now, what
All right.
evidence I got to, based on the answer, I got no evidence whatsoever, but that's just what I think.
All right. Well,
We only deal in facts, Tyler. I'm sorry.
yeah.
Oh, man. You invited the wrong guy,
Tyler,
then.
Tyler, thank you for joining the show.
Yeah.
Sorry. All right. Steve, what do you think?
I gotta agree. I definitely think it's part of the soul. I think it goes back to, look, if I believe in the afterlife. I mean, you technically, when I listen to people discuss how a human is after, they basically explain you're the same person. You have the same attitude, same ways of kind of believing and everything. So they always say if you're a nice person in life, you're probably a nice person in death. And then same thing, if you're an a-hole in life, you're probably an a-hole in death. So I mean, I feel like all of that kind of follows you. So if it follows you, then that would suggest that consciousness is part of your soul.
Good. Wendell, what do you think?
Listen, Steve just doomed me to eternity as an asshole. I guess
Yeah.
not a lot to talk about. I believe when somebody talks to me, Jeff, they're talking to me, my soul. They're not talking to me, my brain, or this. This body's only an instrument to talk. It makes sounds, it listens, it hears things. It walks me around, that kind of thing, but it's not me. My soul, me is me, my soul. Like when I die, my brain's going to stay here. So if you're talking about, I guess the distinction needs to be made when you say mind. Are you talking
Mind
about
and
your brain? Or are you
your
talking about,
brain.
well, I think soul and consciousness is the same thing.
Yeah.
I think my
Yeah.
consciousness is my soul. So,
Gotcha.
that is what God put into this.
Right.
But so when I die, my brain's staying here, but I'm not.
Right.
And
Okay.
so when people talk to me, I think it's whatever you want to call it, consciousness, mind, soul, spirit, whatever. But that's me. You understand? That's me.
Right.
And
Right.
and then because I kind of connect the dot. How the hell am I going to go anywhere else if my brain is me? My brain's not me. My brain's a tool that me can use if I learn to use it. right? And I think that's everybody's situation. You know, if you learn how to use your body, you can make things happen, you know, whether it be your brain, your muscles, your fitness. Like I told you, you guys have the dream of 95% of America already, and you don't even know it. And so what could your dream possibly be? Because you already have what most people dream of, and that's physical fitness kind of thing. So, but yeah, my consciousness and my soul is me, not my body or my brain.
Gotcha.
Man, some good questions, guys.
Yeah, I got a
Look, we
follow-up
had
that's-
4
question.
questions. We got 4 questions, and we're already at an hour and 5 minutes. Just 4 questions. And
Yeah,
by the way,
I know.
the diversity of the 4 questions completely different if you think about
Yeah.
it.
All right, I
Right,
got a
it
follow-up
is, it
question,
is.
actually.
The young gun has a follow-up.
No.
All right.
All right, if we all went to bed tonight and then we started astral projecting, where would the first place you guys would go? We'll start with you, Dad. Where would you go first?
My gosh, that's a good question. I go to the edges of the universe myself, because I want to see just how far it expands out.
Dude,
But
that
if I
sounds scary.
if I had to stay within the realm of like planet Earth, I'd probably go back to bed.
You get this possible once-in-a-lifetime thing, and you choose just to go
He's
back
like,
to
I'm going
sleep.
back to bed. I'm going
Yeah.
back to sleep.
Yeah.
All right, what
To
about
me,
you, Steve?
that's a big question.
That is
You know
that's
what?
a big
Okay,
question.
so I mean, look, I'm going to stick on planet Earth. I mean, obviously, I'll figure out the secrets of the universe when I pass, right? But if I'm astral projecting, I'm going to go here on Earth. I'm going to
Yeah.
go check out the secrets of the Vatican. I want to go down in those vaults. I want to spend some time thinking through what is it that you have that you've been hiding for centuries? What secrets of humanity? What what things have you hidden from us that you don't even want us to know? Because they're down there. I promise you, they're down
Right.
there. And I want to see what's down there. So if I'm going to astral project or remote view, I want to go see what's in the
You
tombs of
going
the
there?
Vatican. Yep, I want to see all their secrets.
That's a good answer.
Yeah.
I like it.
Very good answer. What about you, Wendell?
I would project to the moon in July of 1969 so I can
Mm.
know the truth.
So you could
Go to
time travel as
Roswell.
well?
Well, you said I can project
Wow,
anywhere,
all
right?
right.
If I can project anywhere, the moon, July 1969, Roswell in 47, July of 47, in the pyramids. I think I'd be disappointed in the pyramids, though, because I'm thinking they were ancient aliens that helped them, and you go back and you just see a bunch of slaves carrying a lot of heavy rock. But,
Yeah,
Right.
could be.
you know, yeah, you mean if you're talking present day, if I could project just anywhere in present day, maybe Fort Knox, see if there's any gold in it. But the present day, it is kind of boring to me as far as there's nothing really going on that is hyper. I mean, besides politics, that's hyper questionable that I know of. Can you think of anything, Jeff?
No, I think
Present
Steve
day.
has
I mean, present day.
right. I think Steve has had the best answer so far that I've heard of. I mean, the secrets of the Vatican, because that goes from
Yeah,
ages back, to the present
yeah,
day, and there's still stuff hidden. But like I said, Wendell, I go back to bed.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I
Oh
would either
man.
go to
Maybe,
Area 51 to see
yeah.
what's going on over there, or probably my local hot dog factory to see how the hell these hot dogs are made.
Down in the money
Good
pit to
answer.
see what the hell's down there.
Right.
I don't think
Right.
you want to know that, Tyler.
Eric,
Believe it or not, you won't eat another hot dog ever. It's better with
yeah,
hot dogs just
yeah,
not to know. That's what I'm
Yeah,
gonna
he's
yeah.
say.
probably right. Oh.
I don't want
Ignorance
to
is
see how the
bliss.
sausage is made.
Yeah, ignorance
No?
is bliss.
Exactly.
Hey, I have a fun one. I don't know if we want to leave with this one, but all right. You can go see any band from past 2000, 3000, anywhere. You can go see one band for one hell of a concert. The best concert you will ever see. And it could be any band that you want, past, present, future, whatever you think. Who you going to see? And I'm going to start with Wendell.
Kiss in the 70s when they first started.
Oh no.
Okay, hey,
Yeah.
Tyler, that's
When they when they
Wendell's response.
when they were not popular, just to see people give them the weird eye, like, what are you guys thinking? And to know that the legends that they become, yeah, that'd be mine.
Were
Okay,
they doing the
Tyler, let's go to
costumes?
you.
Were they doing the costumes
Huh?
and the makeup from like the very start?
Yeah, but they did cross dressing to begin with. So I wouldn't want to go
Wow.
that far back. I would like the current costumes when they first came out, uh, just to see, knowing what they became, and to see them in a small venue. Um, yeah, that would be
Were
pretty
they
awesome.
Cheech Marinette wearing the
They were,
ballerina outfit? Yeah, you guys
yeah,
get what I'm
basically,
talking about,
yeah,
right?
they were
Cheech
cross
Marin?
dressing. There was a hot band that looked like guys that dressed like females, and
Okay,
that was a hot band, and Kiss tried to mock them, and it just didn't feel right to them. And plus,
fair
nobody
enough.
liked it. Yeah.
Tyler, where are you going? Who are you going to see?
I'm not even the biggest Metallica fan, but I would probably specifically see Metallica play the 1991 Moscow show they did. I don't know if you guys seen footage of it, but it's one of the biggest concerts that's ever happened before. Like the crowd is literally never ending. It's humongous. And they were like at the top of their game in 1991. The Black Album came out. I know it's a little controversial because they got a little more commercial with that album, but the hits are
That's okay.
still really good. But yeah, they were at the top of their game during that time, and that would have just been crazy to see live. Either that or maybe uh seeing I'm not even the biggest Queen fan, but Freddie Mercury, just seeing him live would be really incredible.
You know what's incredible that was just another day to us was Farm Aid. It was just
Yeah,
another
you're
That's
desert
right.
day
right,
at
yeah.
MTV. It was just another day, and to see how big that is in the history of things is pretty neat too.
Jeff?
True that. Well, I would go see. Everybody talks about Beethoven and Mozart, how great they were. So I would sit in on one of their concertos when they were playing, just to see how good they were at that time.
That's pretty good. You know what, Jeff? I'm kind of surprised you didn't mention Nirvana.
Yeah,
I
I'm
mean,
Nah,
just
shocked
it's
in their
too.
heyday, right in heyday. But like I was thinking, like maybe for you, Jeff, like Nirvana when they did Unplugged, which by the way still stands to this day, might be the best Nirvana concert. I mean, honestly, just the Unplugged, it was just so pure, just
You're
pure.
so right. I would love to see that.
Oh,
You know,
oh my gosh!
that's
But
interesting because as you get older, I think that's the timeline for me where I checked out of music, where I stopped following it, except the guys I knew, because Nirvana was a whole generation of music that obviously they were big, and they must have had a good song or two because I can't name one of them. I can't name one of the band members. I can't even recognize their album cover, but I realized that there was a generation that they were like top dogs and did some really impressive things, like legendary things, and I have no idea who they are. And it's really weird that you mentioned Nirvana because I've always thought that's kind of the timeline for me, where everything Nirvana and beyond. Metallica, I've heard of a little bit because I got a buddy that's a metalhead and stuff. So I've heard of,
Hmm.
I know all the Metallica stuff and all that. And plus they were, maybe I was coming back into music and I heard Metallica then, but Nirvana is one that I totally missed the Seattle rock bands, whoever
yeah.
they were.
well, I I mean personally, I would go. It'd be between one or two people, or groups, I would say. I would love to see the Doors in their heyday, like just to see Jim Morrison on stage, like turning his back to the people and like just screaming odd things and looking at his band, just looking at him like, what is this guy doing now? As they continue to sit there and play the same notes, this dude is always doing something weird. And like, you know what I mean? Like to see him kind of in the early days, maybe right there in Venice Beach kind of, you know what I mean? Seeing one of those early Doors concerts when they were pure and prime, and maybe they didn't exactly know who they were at that time. They clearly weren't as big, at that time. And I think that would be amazing. Just see like a kind of a early to mid Door show. Or how do you not want to see Jimi Hendrix playing the
I was about to
guitar?
say
I
that.
mean,
That would have been awesome.
I gotta tell you, just to see Jimi Hendrix, just watching this guy hypnotize a whole concert with just this one guitar in his hand. I mean, the power behind that. You know what I mean? That guy could have probably said anything. And think about it. At that time, it couldn't be popular to be an African American, let
Right.
alone jumping into a primarily white music, right? And just to wield the power that he had, that much respect from all races, all creeds, religions, color. I mean, people hated him, but if you knew him and you knew his music, I mean, this guy was something special. You know what I mean? Just
Yeah.
talking about his music. I can't speak for the guy himself. Don't know much about himself, but man, his music. So it'd have to be one or the other. Like one
Gotcha.
Doors or Jimi Hendrix. I'd love to see them.
Well,
Yeah, I also have
guys,
another
those are all
answer.
awesome.
I
All
think
right.
What's
seeing
that?
Van Halen specifically with David Lee Roth would have been so good, I think. In like the
I have a
early
Van
early
Halen rule.
1980s.
Yeah.
Tyler, I have a Van Halen rule.
Yeah, what's
I either
that?
call it the Dave Matthews rule or the Van Halen rule, which is this. I recognize how amazing the artist is in the sense of like how big they are, how society sees them and everything. I just was never a fan of it, right? Like
Yeah.
Dave Matthews, people love Dave. I just was never. Same thing with Van Halen. To me, they got a couple songs, and they're obviously amazing. I'll never take away from their musical thing, right? Their attributes and what they do, but I just was never a fan. But I recognize though, it's a respect. It's a mutual respect. I just never
Coolest
partook.
logo ever.
Which one?
Oh,
Van
yeah.
Halen
Matthews?
had the coolest logo.
Van
What
Halen?
was
Yeah.
everybody doodling in the lunchroom when you were in junior high? It was the Van Halen logo.
I could
Yeah.
believe that. I could
Yeah.
believe that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's because they have such a specific style that you either love it or hate it. There's like no in between.
I would
Like their
agree. I
biggest
would say the
song,
same thing.
I was gonna say their biggest song is Jump, which doesn't even have much guitar in it at all. It's very keyboard heavy, which is weird that it's their biggest song for a band that's known for having one of the best guitarists of all time.
Brothers,
Yep.
Yep.
Eddie and
Well,
Alex.
Steve and T-Bone, thank you for joining
Wait,
tonight.
are we
Some
not doing
good
another round of
questions.
questions? Because I had more.
I think we've done.
Yeah,
I mean,
we're
we've done
wrapping it up.
amazing.
Oh, damn.
Yeah,
I think
All
we've
right.
done amazing. We'll save it for the next round. I
Right.
feel
All
like
right.
we save it for the next round table. You guys
All right,
inspired me
gotcha.
with some additional questions.
Gotcha. Thank you guys for joining us. It's been another lively conversation. Good spectrum of questions from everybody. It was awesome. What'd you think, Wendell?
I thought it was awesome. Thanks, Tyler. Thanks, Steve, for joining us.
Thank you.
I liked
I
it.
thought you were
I
gonna
liked the philosophy. What's that?
I
What
thought
are
you
you
were going
saying?
to say this is probably the worst episode yet, and you're probably not even going to release it.
No, not at all. Not at all. I think it's awesome. No, I love the philosophical thing because it's actually the thing that I like to do is to talk philosophies with people, and doing this we pin it down sometimes to a certain topic and a certain guest, and And those are really interesting because you're hearing stories that you don't know already. So those are important. But I like philosophizing in general too, just with people. And Tyler, you and your dad here, I think it's so cool you get to talk. 'Cause I know my son talks to me about like we'll be on a long. I'll go pick him up at Orlando when he could have flew into Jacksonville, but he makes me drive an extra hour to Orlando to get him. And he told me one time that he enjoyed the FaceTime because we get to talk and we philosophize like this. So
Yeah.
it made me feel good, so this is kind of the neat stuff that we like to do. And as I've said a million times, your dad and I would be doing this anyway, even if we weren't filming it. Um, so I like the roundtable thing. I look forward to them. And so thanks again for joining us.
Oh yeah, no
Thank you for
problem. I had a
having
great
us.
time.
Yeah, we'll
Yep.
have you guys on again because I'm sure this won't be our last roundtable. But thank you guys once again. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed today's show. If you got any comments about any of the questions, leave them down in the comment section below. Hit that like button, subscribe, and until next time. Oh, the most important thing, if you have a story that you'd like to share with us and you wish to come on Buried Stories, send me your story at buriedstory74@gmail.com. And until next time, thank you for watching.